Welcome to The Buzz. I'm Katcy Stephan.
And I'm Drew Schwendman.
Today we have a special interview and performance with singer-songwriter Leo Xia.
And we're catching you up on this whole leggings gate fiasco. The Buzz is next.
It's time for Woke Up Like This, where we'll catch you up on what you need to know in the entertainment world. Coming in at number 3,
Khloe Kardashian hosted a charity spin class to support the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles on Saturday. The reality star led a sold-out class at Cycle House with fitness instructor Nichelle Hines, whose studio was also featured on E's Hollywood Cycle 2 years ago. Bikes cost $75 and were sold out in minutes, with all proceeds going directly to the hospital. And coming in at number 2, we've got another scandal, this time on an airplane. That's right, hashtag Leggingsgate was trending on Twitter yesterday after United Airlines refused to let 2 young girls wear leggings on the flight. Several stars jumped in on the conversation on Twitter, including Chrissy Teigen, who tweeted, "Next time I will wear only jeans and a scarf." Sarah Silverman, Patricia Arquette, William Shatner, and Seth Rogen also chimed in. A United representative later stated that the 2 girls were past travelers and had to follow a stricter dress code since they were guests of the company.
Drew, it's not surprising that this upset me.
I think we could all expect that.
I am so sick of women being policed for wearing normal clothing and being overly sexualized for wearing just what you would wear to the gym.
Especially young girls who are completely covered up in leggings. And I think United kind of dug themselves into a little bit of a deeper hole by saying, like, oh, it's company policy. They have to dress a little bit more appropriately. And it's like, well, one of the girls is 10 years old wearing leggings. And one witness tweeted that her father was wearing shorts. So I don't know who was wearing what, but what we know is that leggings, I think, are appropriate to wear on planes and comfortable.
Yes, and United uses women in leggings in their ads.
So
it's none of my business, but
it's a little strange. But of course, our number 1 story of the week is
Migos and Ray Stremmerd are performing at USC Spring Fest this Saturday. The USC Concerts Committee announced the performers for the annual event this weekend. Students can expect to hear Migos perform Bad and Bougie before Ray Stremmerd takes the stage with their hit songs Black Beatles and No Type. I'm not going to lie, Drew, I did not know what Springfest was until I heard all of the hubbub about this.
I know, you're a master's student or whatever, but Springfest is honestly the biggest event of the year. It's the one time that all my friends, come together and we all actually go to a USC event. Sorry, I'm sure USC, thank you, Program Board, for everything, but Springfest, of course, is the best. Live Nation said last year that it's one of 5 college concerts that should be its own festival because we always have huge stars. And, people are really excited on social media, on Twitter. This got over 277 likes, this announcement, and people are so excited for the headliner. But just keep in mind that there are going to be other performances, too.
I am really excited. I mean, obviously, I'm going to want to hang out with you.
And you're going to have the best time. But I know that you had a great time this past week. Katcy, you guys met some of the cast of NCIS LA at PaleyFest. So let's take a peek at what they had to say about the upcoming season.
Hey guys, it's Katcy Stephan coming at you live from the red carpet at PaleyFest. We're here for the NCIS LA panel where we will be hearing from the show stars Chris O'Donnell and LL Cool J. The whole cast turned up to celebrate wrapping up their 8th season and answer fan questions. Some were especially excited to meet fans.
Well, that's very kind of you to say that Marty's a fan favorite. Fan favorite over here.
LL Cool J, one of the show's stars, is also known for his show Lip Sync Battle. He and his castmates weighed in on who they would like to compete against.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't divulge that one. Yeah, that would be too much information. But they all have a standing invitation.
It must be Daniela because I know she brings a lot of choreography to the table, and I would also bring a lot of choreography to the table.
I gotta be honest, I would lose to all of my co-stars. Barrett is a professional Broadway actor. Renee is like a hip-hop dance star. She won Dancing with the Stars in Portugal. I would get destroyed. Like maybe I'd beat Linda, probably not. I would lose to everyone.
LL Cool J admitted that even though he loves playing an agent, he wouldn't want to be one in real life.
That's a good question. I don't know if I'm built for that. You have to.
Ladies might argue with that.
Yeah, but it ain't about being quote unquote charisma. It's about putting your life on the line. Ain't nothing charismatic about getting shot in the calf muscle. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I respect those agents a lot. We meet with real agents, so I know the other side of it. How we wrap cases up, in an episode, but it may take them 6 months to do a case. It's long, it's arduous, it's tough. There's a lot of danger. I probably can handle it. You never know.
NCIS LA was just renewed for its 9th season on CBS. You can catch this season's finale on April 9th.
Well, you look like you had the most fun ever, especially with LL Cool J.
I have had a crush on him for as long as I can remember. He's married, so I'm not trying to move in on that territory, but he is the sweetest, most down-to-earth person. I don't easily get starstruck, but I could not believe that he was standing in front of me, and I was just so excited to hear how gracious he was and how kind he was about the real-life NCIS agents, because that's actually what my dad does.
Oh, crazy.
So my dad was so excited to hear that LL Cool J respects what he did. He even tweeted at me to tell me how much he respects my dad, which I thought was just such a kind gesture. So LL Cool J, if you're watching, I love you.
Yeah, you're going to remember that forever.
I gained a lot of followers, so at least there's that. I'm very excited. But I'm not the only one that did something fun this week. In fact, Brogan went on the block this week, but this time he was not playing any games.
Yeah, guys, this week on Brogan on the Block, I literally hit the block and did something I've never done before, but was super excited to do. See a sidekick. I asked about my future, the USC football team's future, so check out what the sidekick had to say. Before we begin, can you tell me a little bit about your background and what will kind of be happening today during this reading?
Sure. I've been in metaphysics basically since I was a teenager, and I had my first astrology reading in 1978 or 9, I forget. So today what I'm going to do, in a 15-minute reading, what I normally do is either a general look at things, or if someone has a particular question, I like to know it in case I do a different layout.
So I just entered college, and I'm kind of pursuing an ambiguous career in entertainment reporting. And so I'm a little stressed about whether that will work out for me.
The first thing I look at is your conscious state of mind, which is this position, subconscious, and your physical self. And what I'm looking for is the kind of mind you have and the state of it. So the 4 and the 7 actually go along really well with each other because they're part of what's called the right-hand pillar in the Kabbalah. And that path is the path of the individual, and it's the path of power, passion, independence, and my husband calls it the warrior path. And warriors are people that like challenges, they're very independent, they do need a battle. These cards are not known for their patience, so you're not going to be known for that. They're very creative, the 4 and the 7. And the one thing I will say is that there are quite a few people in the entertainment business in general with these cards because they're very passionate, creative. They're also innovative, so you could be very interested in innovating things and creating things. And I would say no matter what, you're always going to need to feel like you have independence in your career. And then you do have to watch the development of the ego with these cards. Now, the ego is perfectly fine. I don't have anything against the ego, but it can become a problem if you let your ego get in the way of your work and your relationships.
I got a big ego, ha ha ha.
Can you tell us a little bit about USC's football team next?
I'll give it a shot. I don't watch football, but I'm game, This is kind of a year of destiny for them. And so I really like that. I think that how I would describe it as far as how the season will go is it's very satisfying. There's a lot accomplished. I don't know if they're the top winners, but they should do really well. I don't think there should be a lot of major injuries or anything either. I don't think there's anything that's really showing up. There might be one person that does very well because of the star. I think also in terms of coaching, I like some of the energy around coaching and things like that. That looks really good.
That was awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Amazing. And if you guys want to have your own psychic experience, visit Krista and all the fantastic readers at Mystic Journey Bookstore in Venice Beach.
Now, do you think anything she said is going to come true?
Well, we'll have to wait and see on that. She started off by saying that she doesn't predict the exact future. She kind of gives a layout of what possibly could happen. So I'm going to have to kind of wait and see if she gets it right. She hit a lot of the qualities correct.
What
a
about
lot
the
of my
ego?
Qualities. I don't agree with that. I definitely do not agree with that. But a lot of the other stuff she said was correct. I am very independent. I feel like I am kind of a leader. So she got that head on.
Yeah, and she also said you're a warrior. You're a warrior, Brogan.
I will take that.
She said you want battles. Battles with Brogan on the block.
Oh, that's
our
awesome.
Next week's episode. But I think besides seeing a psychic, another thing you guys should definitely try out. Have you guys ever heard of Smorgasburg?
Smorgasburg.
I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Drew has been practicing and he can't get this right.
Smorgasburg. Well, it's every Sunday in the Arts District, and it's basically just a ton of food. 2 of our correspondents were there to check it out.
That's right. This weekend, Kayla and I hit up Smorgasburg to try out some of the delicious food they had to offer. Take a look at what we found.
Hey guys, it's Annabelle and it's Kayla, and we're here at Smorgasburg reporting for the buzz. And if you're a foodie like us, then you're definitely gonna want to check it out. Let's go eat some yummy food. Do you have a favorite dessert?
I'm having it right now, actually. It's sticky rice.
Oh, we saw that.
Yeah. Really good.
Yum.
And then there's the pad thai. I've yet to try that.
Hey guys, we're currently in line waiting for the pad thai at the sticky rice place, and this is what Aaliyah recommended, so hopefully it's good. It's supposedly the best pad thai place. So we got the mango sticky rice too, and the pad thai.
Try it out.
Oh yeah.
Kayla just got some macaroons to last a lifetime, but thank God I'm her roommate because we'll be tasting those later. Can't wait. Chicken curry one, first bite. Oh my God, it's so hot, this one. Wow.
And then you said that you're not done. I was like, what? But we already bought the drink.
Wow. You gotta try that one.
So I try to, in the morning, come, like, once I set up, get all my food for the day and just casually
And just have it back there.
Like, seriously, I'll just store it.
Oh my God. Been a long afternoon. Kayla, we're going to the gym right now.
Probably, yeah. But I'm gonna have those macaroons.
Oh, we still have the macaroons.
Macaroons. Bye.
It never ends. Happy Sunday. See you guys next time. We had the best time. If you guys want to go check out Smorgasburg and taste some of the amazing food we did, then the event happens every Sunday from 10 to 4 in the Arts District. Now let's toss it over to Katcy and Drew for some pillow talk.
Thanks, guys. I definitely know I want to go this Sunday. Right now, we have USC student and singer-songwriter Leo Xia here in studio with us. Leo was a top 6 finalist at the annual Asian American Talent Show collaboration this past summer and recently dropped his album Hyphenated on all streaming platforms. So thank you for joining us in studio today.
Yeah, of course.
So, Leo, tell us about how you first started realizing that you wanted to be a singer-songwriter.
Yeah, I mean, music's been part of my life from an early age, but I think when it first started, it was just like piano and violin lessons kind of thrown onto me by my parents. And eventually in middle school, I started playing piano for a band, and that's when the singer, my good friend Ben Chang, was like, hey, you should try singing too. I was like, oh, okay, sure. But you know, I just started singing in a boys' choir with him, and I just kept singing, and I just grew to love it, and I sang in honor choir throughout high school, and that's where my songwriting kind of began as well, and that was for, you know, my first relationship. So if y'all can relate to that that feeling, yeah. So that's kind of how I started writing. I wrote a lot about love, especially in high school, and then I guess more in college, where it's definitely taken a more professional turn, is when I've started writing about my Asian American identity, my Asian American experience, and that kind of holding on to that has allowed me a lot of experiences on campus, and that's eventually spread off campus around LA and, you know, nationally as well. And that's when I was like, okay, starting to getting paid for a bit for these gigs. So that's at the point where I was like, okay, maybe I can actually like feed myself with this job. So it's definitely a transitional period.
Well, I'm glad you started singing because you have a great voice. And one song in particular that I like, I'm not sure if it was on your album, but it's Artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you recently performed it, so let's take a look at that real quickly. It's just like such a smooth voice. But can you tell me what that song is about? Is it about love?
It's kind of a twist on it, because the original, because sometimes when I write, I don't always start with the concept, at least back then. But I knew the image I wanted to start with was that, like, we're all like blank canvases before we have all these like life experiences, and that's the equivalent of like adding color to our lives. So I imagine someone like just dressed and like all white, or just like, or if you will, like just like a white, huge white morph suit or something, and then just a bunch of people coming in with like paintbrushes and a bunch of color and just going crazy on them. And that for me represents like all the things you learn throughout life, your life experiences, you know, the good and the bad. And especially for artists, that's like what shapes and informs our art. So, and in the song, in the bridge especially, it's talking about like, oh, if you're an artist, like don't worry about what people are saying about you. Don't like try to like adjust to what you think people will like about you. Just really stay true to yourself, while also hopefully, you know, improving your craft as well. And people will see that and gravitate towards your honest story. So in terms of love, I guess it's a love letter to my fellow artists out there. Yeah.
The music video, though.
Yeah.
Do you need extras or models?
I would love to have y'all.
We're available.
Yeah.
And you name the time and place, Drew, and I will be there.
Okay.
But so for anybody who might not be as familiar with your music, could you talk a little bit about the influences that you've had and you know, how that has inspired your style?
Definitely. In terms of like actual music, I listen to a lot of Ed Sheeran. But he was a later influence. I definitely say the first influence was definitely Jason Mraz. I've listened through pretty much every single one of his songs that I found, and that he's probably the biggest influence on my songwriting. But in terms of what I write about, there's little known like Asian American songwriters like Chris Ajima that wrote during like the civil rights era, and people now that are like beginning to be more unafraid about writing, you know, about civil rights, about their cultural identity and how that informs their work. Like you see the epitome of that in like J. Cole, like Kendrick, Beyonce, Chance the Rapper. So definitely kind of a fusion of that acoustic pop sound with the message of, you know, artists like Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we've seen you do before is you did a great collaboration on YouTube. It got a lot of views, and it was a cover of Tori Kelly's song. So let's take a quick look at that.
Hoping that you won't forget, I live through pictures as if I was right there by your side. But you'll be good without me, and if I could just give it some time.
I just feel so at peace.
Yeah. It feels like a song I would listen to like outside and just a picnic song. It's the perfect picnic song. But, you know, one thing you talked about is you wanted to kind of write about and sing about your identity and social justice issues. So can you kind of elaborate on that?
Right, especially, I mean, little bit on my background. I grew up in Beijing, but I went to an international school out there, so people are confused as to like why I speak fluent English, even though I grew up in Beijing. But it's because I went to an international school where it's basically like, it's it's based on American education. So I like basically spoke English in all my classes with all my teachers. So, but in such a high academic pressure environment, there's a lot of pressure to succeed, to go to like the best schools, and often your self-care is put in the wayside of like, oh, I need to do all these extracurriculars and get all these grades. So I felt like I was kind of lost. And then even though I was writing love songs at the time, I was very like, oh, like if people like my song, I'm really happy with the song. But if people don't like my song, I'll be like, oh, well, I didn't really like the song anyways. But now as I learn more about like the history of my people, and I'm able to write about that, even if I sing a song about that and people are like, that was a trash song, I hated it, that would still hurt obviously, but I'd still be like, okay, well, they hated it, but I still know I was being true to myself and true to like my history, so it really roots me in that sense. So it's not just it's like it's almost like therapeutic for me to be writing these things, and not only to be projecting that and expressing that as well.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned how important it is to include your culture in your music. And so we've spoken before about how there's a real lack of diversity in the film industry in terms of casting Asian American actors. Do you
Absolutely.
see something similar in the music industry?
Right. As like similarly, for the acting industry as well, it's all on screen. It's very visual, and there is that historic perception that people won't respond to Asian. That also translates to the music industry, because the music industry, interestingly, is also visual as well. You want to market your person as like this huge pop star, like imagine a Justin Bieber, and we don't really have. So it's like, I think it's especially important because growing up, I didn't see a mainstream pop star that had my background. I think it's important, especially for Asian American kids nowadays, especially those growing up in environments bombarded by all these messages, just to have a person to kind of see on a pedestal, say to you like, hey, it's gonna be okay. I made it, you can make it, we'll all be all right.
Well, fascinating, and I hope that you can be that person on the pedestal, like reaching out to future generations. But I know we have a special treat for you guys. Leo's going to perform a new song, right?
Yeah, a new song.
And can you tell us a little bit about it before you get to it?
Yeah, so this new song, Aflame, I just told you a bit about my background, and it's, I think, the first song where I was really like, I'm just gonna, I wasn't sitting down and I was like, oh, I'm gonna write this Asian American song, which I sometimes did when I was just starting to write about those kind of things. But I think this song was honestly just, hey, I'm just gonna put my story on paper and see how that translates. And it's very much inspired by like Ed Sheeran's kind of sound. So I actually originally used it as like, I used like the same chords, and I actually sang his chorus from it. But in the end, it was actually because I did a open mic for BuzzFeed, and I was like, oh, can I do the song where I sing Ed Sheeran's chorus? And they're like, it'd be better if it was original. Oh. So I ended up just writing my own chorus for it. Cool. So now it's now my song.
Yeah, well, we're excited to hear it. Real quickly, check out his Facebook page, Leo Xia Music, or follow him on Instagram at SSLX95 for more music and updates.
We cannot thank you enough for joining us today. Everybody, please make sure to check him out, and we will leave with his song. So thank you guys so much. I'm Katcy Stephan.
And I'm Drew Schronman. We'll see you guys next week. And now the performance.
Tear apart, you categorizing straight out of age, and yet you never saw me coming with a chainsaw, ripping your expectations to shreds. Let the pieces in the air form a picture of the life I led, the lead I bled to put these words on paper, the ones that I never said out loud. Now I'm proud of my heritage and where I came from. These words are pillars of my cultural kingdom. Sing along with this. My cultural phenomenon is not a con or a non-factor. In this factory we plead for ignorance to see, so I had to get on my knees. Light it on fire, the things you knew about me, yeah. Set it aflame, the ways you let me down to the gravity of my security line. The color of my skin doesn't define my experience. It's 2017. You'd think that'd be common sense. Yes, I take my shoes off when I enter the room, but it doesn't mean there's other things that can't be assumed. What you know about feeling split down the middle, entire ocean waving goodbye through the window. Home is in the suitcase, family is the home base. Memories and friends can't be replaced in a workplace. Americans come at me with the how can you be my kin. Chinese elders give me shit for speaking Chinglish. Ever since I was a kid I learned to juggle more than hacky sags. Ill with you, culture line on my back, constantly on attack for what I lack. Be the best of both worlds, can you handle that? Can you handle that? Light it on fire, the things you knew about me, yeah. Set it aflame, the ways you let me down to the gravity of my security line. Light up the darkness in your eyes. Young child, I see that you can see you were taught by lies. Stand up, you're bigger than your size. Let go of what you will despise. Eyes on the prize, not what's in disguise. Light it on fire, the things you knew about me, yeah. Set it aflame, the ways you let me down to the gravity of my security line. To the gravity of my security line. Cool. Thank you so much for having me.